Hey, Bryce here. So, I wanted to talk today about how to utilize metrics for success when starting a successful bookkeeping business. Now, I make these videos because when I was getting started building my bookkeeping and accounting firm, there weren't a lot of online videos around how to do this topic. So, I make these videos in my spare time so that someone who's just getting started with their business does not have to make a lot of the mistakes that I did. Now, if you've been following any of our content for a little while and you've kind of heard some stuff about our mentorship program, I'd love to invite you to click the link inside the description either above or below the video to book a call with me to see if I can help you inside of our mentorship program. We can't help everybody because we only accept about 10 people per month because we like keeping it very intimate group that we know we can help every single person that joins. So very important. If you want some help, go click the link either above or below the video. So let's kind of jump into this thing. So number one thing that intermediate people make. So there's beginner business owners think there's a lot of secrets and they're looking for this magical place where you can go find leads. Now let me tell you something. Leads are everywhere. Really, the thing that most people struggle with is not necessarily getting leads, it's signing people up, right? So for example, sometimes you get clients at the grocery store. Sometimes you get clients at, for me, for example, I get clients at my church. Some people get clients, from LinkedIn. Some people get it from Facebook, from Upwork. There's a million different places you can go get leads. Now, every platform has a slightly different expectation of those leads. So, for example, Upwork, you're generally going to get a little bit lower dollar clients because the people who are searching there, number one, go for discounts in a lot of cases. Or number two, there are so many people who you're competing with that they get overwhelmed and the lowest price generally wins. So that's called a race to the bottom. Other platforms like LinkedIn, or even Instagram and Facebook to a certain degree are not a place where there's going to be a lot of people competing for the same leads, since there's much wider spread group of leads and there's less people that are directly building relationships with them. So it is easier if you go on more social media platforms than more of job boards. Some people try and go on Indeed, and that can work, but it's generally going to be a lot lower success rate than what most people would really like, right? But I guess the point is to say is it's not like there's a magic place that you get leads. It's more you need to understand the skill sets that are needed in order for business owners of the right caliber who can afford to pay you, between $500 to $5,000 per month. If you're talking the right caliber business owners, you need to be able to show that you are also a high caliber business owner and they generally respect you and they will raise their hand, they want to work with you. Now, most people struggle because they don't really come across as a success, right? They'll show up to meetings kind of late. They, don't keep promises to themselves. They kind of say stuff, but their actions and their track record are not showing that they actually follow the words they say, right? And as a business owner, especially if you're there in a business which is heavily related to sales. So for example, let's say that you're going to a solar company. They're used to selling people all day. So they're used to dealing with people, understanding people, and getting to know the person very quickly. So if they can spot these inconsistencies, they then attribute those inconsistencies to the rest of your overall service, and you never actually get the chance to know that they have a need or to know they're looking for help. And those are the same people where you come up 2 weeks, 3 weeks later and you start talking oh yeah, I just got this new bookkeeper. It's I've been talking to you for 2 months. Why'd you not tell me you were looking for someone? So leads are everywhere. It's not you don't have a lead issue in most cases. If you don't get anyone to ever reply to you or no one ever talks to you, yeah, you have a lead issue, and we're gonna kind of break down how to fix that today. But for most people, if you have leads, if you have at least 1 to 3 consultations a week, you should be getting 1, maybe 2 clients a week. One of my newest student case studies on this channel, her name is Joanne, and she went from $780 a month to about this month she did about $5,000. Next month I think she's on track for $5,300 already before the month even starts, because she just got a new client yesterday. So all that to say is she was only getting 1 to 2 new leads a week. It wasn't like she was getting 50 million leads. It's just we're very good at teaching our students in our mentorship program how to get business owners to respect you and then want to pay you the right amount of money. If you can do that, then you don't need a huge amount of leads. You just need to know your numbers and you can be able to be very successful. Now, let's kind of dive into this. So what are the success metrics you need to know? So number one, you have to be able to track your KPIs. KPI stands for key performance indicators. Now, you can't improve on what you can't see or you can't measure. If it's not there, it doesn't exist, right? Sometimes you might hear people saying nowadays, it's if it's not on camera, it doesn't exist. It didn't happen. And the only reason why is because you can't measure something if you can't see it. So the main KPIs you need to be looking at least when you're in the beginning and intermediate stage, are number one, how many people you're actually like either reaching out to, or are you connecting with, or are you like meeting, right? It doesn't have to just be like a social media reach out. It can be you met a business owner in public at a local event, maybe in line at a grocery store. How many have you met today? Next thing is like how many people actually replied or had a conversation with you. After that, how many people were you inviting to actual consultation call? After that, how many consultation calls were booked? After that, how many consultation calls actually showed up, right? Because not all consultation calls will show up. Some people will no-show you. Then after that, how many people signed up with you? If I ask you that question, you have no idea like what that number is, or even how to go find that like on a spreadsheet, it kind of indicates that, maybe we're either misinformed about how business works, or maybe we're just not like, it's generally not that people don't care about the business or they're not taking it seriously. It's just most people don't know. But now that you know, like, I'm gonna have to hold you responsible for it. You need to keep track of that. For all of my different sales reps inside of my company, every single day I have them give me an end of day report with those numbers I just asked or I just told you about. How many people were how many relationships were built today? How many people replied? How many people were invited to a consultation call? How many consultation calls were booked? How many of those calls actually showed up? And how many of them actually signed up? If they don't give me those numbers, I'm generally yelling at them. Not like in a mean way, but like, hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? Hey, go get these numbers. Hey, don't do anything else until you got this number. Hey, don't go eat dinner. Don't go hang out with your girlfriend. Don't go hang out with that. No, I need these numbers, right? Because if you don't know your numbers, you can't grow your business successfully. Now, I'll even tell you an extreme example. So if you don't track your numbers, your emotions kind of wreak havoc on you in your life and your business, right? Because most people, when we're getting started, we tend to not trust that our processes work and not trust that we're actually going to be successful inside this business. Now, this happened to me for a long time because I didn't know what I was doing at first, right? I spent the first 7 months, it was like 6 to 7 months, I was just doing stuff. I was just like trying to go to network events. I was like cold calling. I was like knocking on doors, trying to do like flyer marketing, and it just was not working because I didn't know anything, man. Like I would get like appointments, and then I couldn't close them because I didn't have any sales skills. I was coming across like I didn't know what I was doing, and like business owners can kind of feel that, and my emotions started playing. It's like, oh, maybe I can't run a successful business. Oh my gosh, maybe it's just not for me. Oh, maybe, some people are just born being entrepreneurs. I'm obviously not born an entrepreneur because no one wants to work with me. And it was very, very like emotional. Now, I started tracking my numbers because I joined a bunch of coaching programs and mentorship programs that all have like different tracking sheets, all had different pieces of advice. The one thing I noticed with every single coach that I ever like worked with said, hey, do you know what your numbers are? Hey, do you know what your numbers are? And I never knew what my numbers were. And it was just like after a number of times, like one guy pulled me aside and said, bro, like I ask you this like every week. Like, why do you never do this? And I was like, well, I just didn't think it was important. I thought you were just like telling me that to make me feel bad. It's like, no, those are important. So nowadays I harp on those numbers every single day, even in our coaching calls with our mentorship students. So for example, one of our students named Paul, he didn't even like his tracking was so bad, he didn't even track how much money he was making. Right? Money would just kind of come into the bank account or just like leave the bank account and pay bills. But he never really knew how much he was making. So it's like within the first, like we had been working together for at least, I think it was like 87, 90-ish days. Right? And he comes to a coaching call and he was like, yeah, I'm moving kind of slow, man. I'm kind of upset. When will I be at 10K per month? It's like, okay. So I guess number one, are you getting clients? Yeah. Okay. Are you getting clients above $500 a month? Yeah, my average one is about $2,000 right now since I joined. Okay. And how many clients do you think that you've gotten since, we joined? He goes, 6 to 8. Okay. So if your average client is like $1,500, $2,000 a month, and you got like between 6 to 8, how much money are you making? He goes, well, I don't know. I was like, wait, what do you mean you don't know? Like, have you done your own bookkeeping? He goes, no. I was like, how about you do that and then come back to me and kind of tell me what you find? Then he comes back. I can't remember if I went to go like get a water while he went and did that or something. I can't remember exactly what I did, but it was like within like I think like 25 minutes later, then he's on the call and he's like, oh, I'm kind of embarrassed, man. I was like, why are you embarrassed? He goes, I actually made $11,000 this month. I was like, what do you mean? He said, yeah, so I signed up $11,000 worth of clients since we got started, and they finally all came through. Okay. And it's just like, so you were above $10,000 a month, but it's just like the point of the story is, if you're not tracking, you're gonna feel like you're not hitting the mark because you don't know where you are, right? It's almost like going on a boat in the middle of a storm and your navigation tools don't work. Like your compass doesn't work, it washes overboard. You use an old school ship. Your map is upside down. It's crinkled. It's tattered. Nothing, like you don't know where you are. You just feel like you're stranded in the middle of nowhere. You could be 3 feet away from the beach, but if you can't see in front of you because you don't have any or you don't have any KPIs to know how much work should you do to get a client, and if you don't have a compass, which is actually knowing, like actually tracking how much work you are and knowing which direction you're going in, you're gonna die 3 feet from the shore. It's you gotta know your numbers. You gotta know your numbers. Now, another important number that you have to know is understanding the number of relationships you have. You should expect to get about 1% of your qualified leads to sign up with you. So let's first define qualified. Okay, so number one, when it comes to qualified, like, are they actually looking for help, right? Oftentimes what happens is, like, you're going to be meeting business owners and they aren't really going to be looking for help at this moment in time. Like, maybe they have the need met, maybe they have things like fulfilled, maybe just everything is going well. Okay, that's okay. Now, let's say they are looking for help. Are they in your target market? Okay, so some people like doing niches. I always recommend doing like 3 or 4 niches, and then you kind of like either niche down even further once you do that and once you have found the one you like, or you can just start getting referrals across the board, right? But it just really depends. Like, most people, like, they'll try and like hone in on like one niche, so it'll take like 3 months to like figure out like what is their ideal niche, and then they take another 3 months to get like their first client, and they get their first client. Now they're like, oh, I don't even like these people, because like maybe they're going after like construction, but maybe they run into a construction business owner who's kind of rude, or just very direct and very like kind of rough. And they don't like that because they don't want to deal with people who have that type of personality, right? So it's like, okay, so they just spent like 6 months trying to get one client. They don't even like that client, so now they're back to the drawing board. And that's how some people like take like a year to get like 2 clients, right? Instead, just go after 3 or 4, start understanding like what are the differences between them, and then once you have some more experience under your belt and you have some more actual clients, then you can choose to like niche down to like 1 or 2, right? So it just really depends on that. Next, do they have solid revenue? Like, your goal is not... Okay, if you're going to charge someone between $500 to $5,000 per month, in a lot of cases, they got to be making more than 6 figures. Like, when you start getting past about $1,000 a month, they need to be making at least 6 figures. Generally, we're shooting for like people who are doing like about $500K per year in revenue and above. If you're going after solopreneurs, like, that's okay. Just understand like your price point is probably not going to be like $3,000 a month. Right, because oftentimes as they're a solopreneur, they're going to be generating about like 100, maybe like, but anywhere between like 50, like maybe like $300,000 in net profit. Right, it's just hard for a lot of business owners to make that much revenue by themselves, and it's generally going to be more of a lifestyle choice. They're going to be, in a lot of cases, being small. And if that's the case, like, yeah, you can offer, like some bookkeeping, and you can offer like some more value-add services that they're willing to pay more money for. But if it's just transactional accounting and bookkeeping, a lot of them not really willing to pay the amount of money that they're looking for, right? So you're looking for at least revenue above $500,000. Ideally be like $750, like $1 million, because then they have a little bit more like play money to start playing around with. Oops, kicked my camera stand. And then afterwards, even a sub part of like solid revenue is that, do they have like contractors and employees underneath them? If they don't really have contractors and employees, they're generally not as used to spending money. Right, now this is important. If you're going to be asking for above $1,000 a month, like, they have to be comfortable spending $1,000 a month. If they already have contractors, they already have like employees, they're used to spending money to get the job done. So that means it's going to be easy for you to go and ask for the price point you need to, because you're dealing with a sophisticated business owner who knows they have to spend money in order to keep the organization growing, right? So it makes it a lot easier to do that. Once they have those, you're generally supposed to be getting 1 client every about 100 business owners that you're generally either meeting or connecting with. So if you're only like talking like 20 a day, it's going to take you at least 5 days to go and like get 100 people, right? So it means if you're doing that consistently and you're connecting with 100 qualified leads every single week, you should be getting a client every single week. Now, there are ways to like minimize this number. Like if you just learn how to snipe and if you learn how to go and get referral partners, then you don't have to go and like connect with as many business owners. You let your referral partners actually go and connect with the people for you. So you don't actually have to go and do that. Now, I made a book that talks about like partnerships and how to actually go do that. It's like $4.99. If you want to go and get a copy of that, I believe if you send me a message out on Facebook or if you like maybe comment like 6FP below, I'll send you a link to the actual book. Again, it's like $4.99. Now, generally, if I sell like on my website on Amazon, I generally sell it for like $16.99. But due to like it being on social media right now, anyone who's inside of my community, I generally give you guys like the discount code. So it just makes it easier for you to be able to go get the information. I really want to know anyone to like have no excuses about like, being able to do it. So at $5, almost anyone on the planet can go and get like $5. So it makes it very, very accessible for almost everyone. So yeah, so that's the main thing. Like, you just got to make sure that you're keeping track of your numbers. If you don't even know how many business owners you've met, how do you know if you're even close to like, the 1% number? You could, if you get like 5 clients, you only know 5 people, you're at 100%. You're killing the game, right? But you have to know that for certain. So the main point of this method in this message is track your numbers. I've given you the numbers of what exactly to track. I've given you the numbers of like what to expect. So I don't really want you to feel as concerned when it's like, maybe you have made traction and you don't really know exactly why you have made traction. I want to kind of give you some peace of mind that maybe you just haven't either tracked your numbers or you haven't put in enough work to start getting clients. And it's just like, if you have no other like strategies, like maybe you haven't watched any of our other videos, like first I would just recommend watch other YouTube videos. But it's like at the end of the day, if you don't have any strategies and you're not in a mentorship program, you got to do what you got to do. So like you got to either like cold call, pound the pavement, do what you got to do if you're going to make this business work. Now, of course, these videos give you a bunch of different methods you can utilize and step-by-step how to do it. So you don't have to do all these like cold calling and different things like that, but you got to use them, Go through some of the videos, go watch some of the content. It's all free. The only thing that's costing you is your time. So it's like, go do that. Go put in this work. Go get some money. Go get some clients. Go leave. If you want to leave your job, go leave your job. But you got to go put in that work. I was talking to a guy yesterday, and like he was saying he wants to like start a business. It's like, okay, well, wanting to start a business and starting a business are two slightly different things. Like it's cool to say like you want to start it, but it's like I asked him, okay, so what research have you done? Well, I haven't done any research. What? What do you mean you haven't done any research? I said you want to start a business. Well, maybe, and I was like, well, maybe it's new. Like, I mean, did you just start thinking about like owning your own business? I was like, no, I've been thinking about it for about 1.5 years. Wait, so you've been thinking about it for 1.5 years, and you haven't done any research? Have you ever started any other businesses? No. Well, what are we doing here? And I was trying to be, I was being nice. I wasn't like saying like this is my internal dialogue. It's like, well, what are we doing here? Go do some research first, man. Like, how do you know if you even can do a business? Do you have enough time? Do you have you done the work? Do you know how to do accounting? Do you know how to do bookkeeping? Like go put in some work. Like people will say that like unsuccessful people say they want something and then just don't do anything about it. Right? Successful people, even if they don't say they're going to do something, they're looking and actually taking steps. It's more action based. People who are unsuccessful are more thinking based. People who are successful are more action based. At least in the business startup phase. Once your business is growing to a certain point, then thinking makes more sense. But most people are kind of trained in that like corporate kind of like mindset where it's all about thinking. And that makes sense when you're in an organization that's not going to fail. But if you're in a startup scenario, you need to have a different skill set, a different attitude to get the plane off the ground in order to start getting to more of that like flight altitude where you can turn back into a thinker, right? So that's the one thing I would kind of do. It's like people are like, oh, I need to go think about this. It's like, you don't need to go think about this. You need to go do some action. Do something. Like thinking is what's got you in this problem in the first place. You need to go do some action. Go talk to some people. Go get people to tell you no. Go throw out your price someplace. Go do something. Like don't think, don't plan, don't prepare. Just go. Just go. You'll figure it out as you go. That's what I've had to do. That's what almost every successful business owner has had to do in the first business. You move forward. You try things out. You fail. Failure is okay. Failure is not final until you give up. So as long as you keep trying, then you're going to make it eventually. Now, if you want to cut down the amount of time it takes, it does help to go and get a mentor. Now, the reason why I say it cuts down the amount of time it takes, like some people could figure it out eventually, but it's like most people underestimate how long they can stay in something that's not doing well. Like most people, like most people cannot handle and endure like hardship and pain for very long. Like, and it's not physical hardship. It's more of like emotion. Like there's like an emotional bank account most people have, and it's like every rejection, every time that a plan doesn't work, every time that something doesn't do something for them, they kind of get sad, and it like drains that bar. And if your bar goes to zero, you're generally going to quit the business. So it's like some people are like, oh, well, I could probably figure this stuff out eventually. It's like if you had a long enough time period and you didn't have the emotional kind of like drainage happening, yeah, you can stay in this thing for 6-10 years. But most people are only going to stay in this thing for about 1 year, 1.5 year unsuccessfully. And then they're going to, quit, think entrepreneurship is not for them. And then they're going to stay in their job for like the next 10 to 40 years, depending on how old you are. Right. So it's like, and that's probably generous. Most people probably only have like 3 months, if not 6 months. Right. So it's like if you want to ensure that you're actually going to reach your goal, you need to do the activities, put yourself in the best position to go and get that. Now, if you want to give yourself the best chance and see if maybe our paid mentorship program could be helpful for you, go ahead and click on the link inside the description either above or below the video to book a call so we can determine if we can help you. Now, again, I don't take on everyone. Sometimes what happens is if I see the person maybe is not in the best place right now, or maybe I just don't really think that our strategy and our system is aligned with the way that, you want to go and get clients, I generally tell you, and I'm like, hey, we like to keep our success rate extremely high in this program, so we don't bring on people who are bad fits. Now, if you are a good fit and I think that we can actually help you, I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you the reasons why I think we can help you out, and then we can outline exactly what it would look like for us to work together to go and reach your goals. And then we can talk pricing, and we can talk about the logistics whole side of that. If you're ready to go, we can then give you an invoice, we can get started, and we can move forward off to the races. If that's how you would like to proceed, go ahead and click on the link inside the description, either above or below this video. Book a call, see if we can help you out. Again, I only accept about 10 people per month, so sometimes we do have a high volume of calls, and it's like, we can't accept everybody. But if you want to see if you qualify, and if you want to see if this could be a good fit for you, go ahead and click on the link inside the description, either above or below the video. I'll see you on the call. We'll talk to you soon. Have a good rest of your day.